Hi, Colombia team. It's Millie here. I totally understand why no one could make the Zoom call apart from Hamish earlier today. I get it. It's Christmas. It's chaos. You're all working hard. Anyway, here we are, solo, talking to myself. So the purpose of this Zoom, this recording, is to help you get organized. I'm just going to rattle through the plan of your itinerary, flights, arrival at the airport, money, extra cost to budget for, phones, SIM cards, Wi-Fi, kit list, personal admin, health and safety. Okay, got it? So pull up a chair, make yourself comfortable, glass of wine, cup of tea, whatever you need, and listen in, tune in. So starting with your flights, okay? There currently are 8 of you, a couple more in the pipeline, so you never know. All on the same Avianca flight. So you are all going to check yourself in at Heathrow, go through to the other side and meet up on the other side after, you've done all that faffing about. I will send you an email the week before you go with a place to meet and an updated, any kind of entry details that might have changed. As you know, they change all the time, but currently right now you don't need anything apart from proof of your COVID vaccinations. If you don't have COVID vaccinations, you will need a PCR test, and you will need that as a matter of precaution, not just for Colombia, but to get on the plane. It's the planes that are actually wanting proof of COVID vaccinations or a PCR test more than the countries on arrival. Okay, so when you arrive, direct flight straight to Bogota, then you've got a few hours to walk across to the internals to hop on the internal flight to Bucaramanga. I can never pronounce it. Anyway, that very complicated place. Just as a top tip, those internal flights with Avianca can often get cancelled, delayed, but they literally go every hour and a half. So if you get there and you see, flight cancelled, don't panic, you'll just be put on the next one. And Brendan and our team in Colombia will be watching those flights and they'll know exactly what's going on. So no one panic. Okay, it is pretty straightforward. When you get there, you will, right to Bucaramanga, you will be picked up by our team. Okay, so they will be at arrivals with a sign saying the leap. You hop in with them and off you go. And it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours drive. And you stop at this amazing place to get your first view of the canyons. And then you will arrive at Barichara to your home, which will be your home for the next for your first 2.5 weeks. Settle in, meet everyone, have a wander around and start to get your bearings. Okay, it is a beautiful, beautiful place. You will absolutely love it. It is very real. It's kind of, it's not on the tourist trail at all. So you really are going to feel part of the local life and you will be embraced into the local life. So for that, you will love it. The place where you all stay is a hostel, but we take over the whole place, so it feels like your home. It's very, very pretty. You get 2 meals a day there. There's a lovely courtyard with hammocks to chill in, and it's walking distance to everything you need. So it's perfect. Brendan and his team and his family live about 10-15 minutes away, but there's people in the hostel kind of looking after you. But Brendan, the main man in charge, he is gorgeous, so he'll be with you every day with all the local guides, so you'll feel part of the party and you will be well looked after. With regard to the itinerary, so the first 2.5 weeks, as I've just said, you will be in Barichara. Your time here is going to be a mix of local treks to explore the local villages, which are all kind of spectacular. The architecture and the canyons, the views, the vistas are going to take your breath away. Project work is split into 2. You help the fire brigade I know, but they are a huge community project with reforestation. So you help them, and you also help in the local school, and you also do this huge community thing for a day or two where the community identifies somebody who is really in need of help, and you go and help that person. And that can be random stuff. The last groups have gone into houses and literally helped tidy and clean for the elderly, given them cooked them a lovely lunch, mended their roof, you name it. But it will be a really, it's a wonderful gift to do. And the whole community, the whole town are behind making that choice. So you will love that. In this first 2.5 weeks, you'll also do the canyon trek, which is your first challenge. It is a trek down. You sleep overnight in hammocks by the river, kind of big bonfire, great. And then you have to trek out the next day. It is hot, it is steamy, but it is beautiful. So brace yourself for that. We'll come back to the kit and what you need to kind of wear on your feet especially. But that is your first challenge. All preparing you for the second phase, the last week and a half, where you will head on the overnight bus north to the coast. This, when you get there, you'll end up in Palomino, which is a kind of fun, hip place where all the backpackers go. Great. It's got a great spirit to it. Great vibe. You have a bit of downtown here. There's kind of tubing. There's lots of activities to be done. And but the main goal is you getting organized, ready for the Lost City trek, which is for Interona National Park. This is your big challenge, but everyone achieves it, loves it. Actually, they might complain at the time, but they love it in retrospect. So you're going to go into Interona National Park and you're going to walk through savannah, jungle, higher and higher to reach the Lost City right at the top. And you will meet the local Interona people and see how they live still to this day. They're very spiritual, they're really interesting, and it's a really special thing to do. So you will love that. After you've done that, then you will go to Santa Marta, further along the coast, back to Santa Marta to have a stay there, and then ending up in Cartagena. And Cartagena is the very hip, cool, arty, boho place, which everyone absolutely loves. You'll stay there in Old Town, and then there'll be a day trip to the islands. So that is really good. So the whole itinerary, we've run now for the last 2 years. It really works. It's full of variety, different climates, different types of challenges, a mix of project work and fun, especially in the first 2.5 weeks when you're in Barichara. Breakfast and supper is breakfast and lunch is included, and supper is not. And it's not to give you the freedom so that you can go to all the little local restaurants and meet everybody and, feel part of the community. So you'll like that. Money. Okay. Money, extra costs, things to budget for. So how are you going to kind of manage your money? You are going to please take $100 cash on you. Okay. You might not need it, but it's really good to have just for emergencies in your bottom of your wallet, just in case. That is just a good kind of money practice management thing to do. You're going to take your debit card, and you are going to get, if you haven't already, a Monzo, Revolut, or Starling card. Now, these are brilliant cards because they don't charge you. I don't know, they charge you other ways, but they don't charge you to get the local currency out when you're there. And you're going to get the local currency out in Barichara at one of the ATMs to keep it really, really simple. Okay. Do not try and get the local currency out before you get there. Just not even worth it. As I said, breakfast and lunch are included. Suppers are out. What do you have to budget for supper? Well, it all depends on which restaurant you choose. You could go to kind of local cafes and spend $10. You can go to really fancy smart places and spend $50. It's up to you. I recommend you go to the $10 ones. And, again, when it comes to drinks, have a few beers in the evening, but don't go for the $10 a pop cocktails. That's when it all racks up. So manage budget, and kind of talk to each other, because some of you will have different, but you'll all have different budgets, and always work with, find an average, find a kind of place where you all feel comfortable and work together on that. Extra things, extra activities. It's tricky, but most people at one of the weekends, you might go back to the bigger city, not the bigger town of San Gil. And here is the kind of adventure capital of Colombia. You've got things like whitewater rafting, bungee jumping, skydiving. You've got all of that. A lot of people do the bungee, but if you do the bungee, make sure your insurance covers it. I know that the Campbell Irvine insurance, which we recommend, covers 2 bungees. Why you'd want to do for 2, I have no idea, but it does. And the whitewater rafting, but just check. If it doesn't, let me know, because I can send you a link for a insurance company, which will just charge you. It's about $15 for 1 day for the activity. So it's easily sorted. And for the whitewater rafting, bungee jumping usually costs about $80. Whitewater rafting, the same. So those are the kind of big ticket items which you might want to add on. Everything else is cheap, inexpensive, and well, most things are included. Phones, please all take 2 phones, because it's amazing how many people lose, break, just, drop in the ocean their phone. So I know most everybody probably has got a kind of spare phone tucked in a drawer in the kitchen. Take it, just sling it in the back on the bottom of your rucksack. But make sure that your phones are open, so that if you want to get a local SIM card, you can. There's Wi-Fi in the hostel, in most of the cafes, most of the restaurants. It's pretty organized out there. But just be mindful that the Wi-Fi in the home in your house is good enough to WhatsApp, but it's not good enough to start downloading videos. Not that you're going to have time to watch videos, but I'm just, as a kind of point of reference. Local SIM cards, super easy to get. Literally, they sell them everywhere. So that is an easy thing to do, to get. Next up, kit list. Okay, in your MyLeap area, you will have a list of everything that we recommend. Now, that list has been built over the last 2 years of people going and giving us their feedback. So it's there for a reason. You might wonder what that reason is, which we probably don't explain what the reason is for everything, but just accept it, pop it in your bag. Okay, just don't leave anything behind, especially when it comes to your hat, a water bottle, good pair of trainers, okay, that you could go hiking in. Trainers that you don't really care about, because on the canyon trek, the ground is shaly, so they need a big, good grip. You'll probably get them wet when you get to the end, kind of the river. And then when you're doing the Lost City trek, it can be muddy, slippery, wet. You're going to get them wet as you do little stream river crossings. So you want a pair of trainers that you really don't care and you're not expecting to bring home. In addition to that, you want to take your nice trainers to wear in the evenings. And I would take a pair of flip-flops or Birkenstocks, Crocs. I know everyone hates a pair of Crocs, but God, they are so useful. So no more than 3 pairs of shoes. But have a look at that kit list. You, of course, can get all your clothes washed. So, when you're kind of adding kind of 10 pairs of trousers, no, you only want 2. So the washing, the facility, your budget probably $10 a load. Don't forget anything, because the post to Colombia is utterly hopeless. So when people say, can I post this medication that my child has left behind, my heart sinks, because actually it is a complete pain to get things sent out, and dubious, it's a complete lottery if it ever gets there. So don't forget anything. Your personal admin. Now, I know Alice has just sent a very cross email to everybody. If you read it and think, oops, yes, I haven't done that. I haven't told her about my insurance, haven't filled in the personal details, and I haven't done anything. Now is the time, because we need it. We need your insurance number. Should something happen to you, then Brendan and his team can action immediately, bearing in mind the time difference. You know, we might not, the office might not be open, parents will be asleep. So we need it. We need to know on your health form everything. So if you've got a nut allergy, if you're on medication for X, Y, and Z, tell us, because we're not being nosy, but we just need to know so we can look after you the best way we know how when you are out there. So, and we're very discreet, everything is very confidential. So just give us a call, email us direct, whatever you need to do. Last, health and safety. Okay, so when it comes to health, out there, you can, the chemists, the doctors, the hospitals are pretty good. So I'm not worried about any of that. But when it comes to health, personal management is really, really important here. If you get cuts, if you get rashes from the heat, you know, you've got to kind of action, clean, cleanse, add the cream, whatever it needs to manage it. Don't let things fester. Don't let things just kind of go off thinking it's going to heal by itself. They don't, especially when you're in hot, sweaty, humid conditions. In Barichara, actually the climate is dry, but when you're at the coast, it's really sweaty. So you've got to manage yourselves in both environments. If you've got, you know, a dodgy stomach, talk to somebody, tell somebody, you know, you really need to rehydrate, etc., etc. Okay. When it comes to safety, in every place, in every location. So when you're in Barichara, when you get to Palomino, when you get to the Lost City Trek, Santa Marta, and Cartagena, Brendan and his team will give you a review of how it works, what the kind of law of the land is in that particular area. Take note of it. Hold on a minute. Take note. Sorry. Take note of what they are saying, especially when you're at the coast. When you're at Palomino, Santa Marta, and Cartagena, okay? Over the last couple of years since COVID and tourism has picked up, there are certain threats, there are certain scams which are particular to every country in every place. And in Colombia, they happen at the coast. Most prevalent in Cartagena, which is the tourist hotspot. So listen in and take it seriously, and don't just think, oh yeah, and ignore it, because we are there to keep you safe. And the only way we could do that is if everybody works together and listens in. It's, you know, it's top intel that they're giving, and it's the latest intel. So just take it seriously. When they say, for example, please don't go to the beach after dark, they mean that, okay? They mean that because the likelihood is that there are people there sitting, waiting to mug you, okay? It's black and white. So you have got to take it seriously. It is, you know, that's kind of makes it sound like, oh my God, but it, you know, that's just a kind of flippant example, but it's just to kind of make you wise up and respect what they're saying. When it comes to drinking, and, you know, again, that everything in moderation. This isn't a school trip. We don't treat you like you're on a school trip. Everybody's kind of free to kind of enjoy themselves. But again, everything in moderation, and, you know, work together as a team. So the last thing I want to touch on is traveling on afterwards. Now, I know a lot of you have said to us that you want to go traveling after the program. Brilliant. Okay. We want to encourage that, and we will help make it possible. Don't make any plans until the last week before you leave for the coast. That's when we will start kind of prodding you. Brendan will start asking, what do you think? And then we all need to kind of work together, parents and you to help change flights, book flights, because we know booking flights in Colombia isn't as easy as it is, weirdly, in other countries. I don't know why, but it isn't. So it's very easy to change your flights. It's all possible just with good, we need to do it kind of 3 days comfortably before that flight leaves, just so it gives everyone a little bit of wiggle room to make discussions and, that option A, B, or C. Okay. And then a lot of people head north to go to Costa Rica, Guatemala, Mexico, or south to Ecuador and Peru. We've got bags of itineraries of top things to do in all of those countries, all written up in your Leap VIP area, of which you are all a member. To access it, you have to come out, log out of MyLeap and log in using the same codes into Leap VIP. They are 2 separate kind of storage databases in the background. So come out and re-enter the other one. Okay, so fun and games. When it comes to injections, top tip, if you are thinking that you might want to go from Colombia north, then you need a yellow fever jab. Okay, I'll leave that with you. Okie dokes. Any questions? We are here until next Thursday, and then we'll close between Christmas and New Year. And so, but we will be answering emails. Okay, if I don't speak to any of you, have a very happy Christmas.